Imagine waking up tomorrow with the life you've always dreamed of. Imagine stepping into your day feeling unstoppable, focused, and free from the weight that holds most people back. What if I told you that the difference between where you are now and where you want to be is not just what you do, but what you decide to remove from your life? Yes, I said remove, because success is not just about adding more skills, more connections, or more money. True success comes when you courageously let go of the things that drain your energy, cloud your mind, and distract your purpose. Today, I want to take you on a journey to identify and remove the 5 things that successful people cut out of their lives to rise higher, live freer, and achieve more than they ever imagined. Pay close attention, because what you choose to let go of could change everything. The first thing successful people remove from their lives is negative relationships and toxic people. These are the individuals who drain your energy, dim your light, and prevent you from moving forward. Every successful person understands that the people you surround yourself with have a direct impact on your mindset, your actions, and ultimately your results. Toxic people can come in many forms: the chronic complainer who always sees the glass as half empty, the critic who undermines your confidence, or the friend who celebrates your failures more than your successes. They might be family, friends, colleagues, or even mentors, but the effect is the same. They hold you back. Successful people recognize that they cannot afford to let negativity occupy the spaces in their minds and hearts that are meant for growth and progress. They understand that every interaction either builds them up or breaks them down. Choosing to remove toxic individuals is not always easy, because relationships are emotional investments, and cutting someone off can feel uncomfortable, guilt-inducing, or even lonely at first. Yet the clarity and freedom that come from letting go of these connections far outweigh the temporary discomfort. When you remove toxic people from your life, you create space for relationships that inspire, challenge, and uplift you. It's not just about avoiding negativity. It's about intentionally curating your environment. Successful people actively seek out individuals who share their vision, encourage their growth, and hold them accountable to higher standards. These are the people who celebrate wins without envy, give honest advice without judgment, and offer support without hidden agendas. When you surround yourself with positive, driven, and like-minded individuals, your energy multiplies, your focus sharpens, and your motivation soars. Toxic relationships often disguise themselves as obligations, traditions, or even love, which makes it easy to tolerate them longer than necessary. But successful people have learned to differentiate between comfort and growth. They understand that sometimes saying no or stepping away from a person is not rejection, it is protection of their purpose. By setting boundaries and removing toxicity, they prevent themselves from being pulled into drama, negativity, or stagnation. They refuse to allow someone else's insecurities or failures to dictate their progress. Furthermore, removing toxic people is not just about immediate results, it's about long-term transformation. When you free yourself from negativity, you gain mental clarity, emotional stability, and the confidence to pursue your dreams without compromise. Your energy is no longer siphoned off by arguments, complaints, or sabotage. You can focus on solutions rather than problems, on possibilities rather than limitations. The people you spend the most time with shape your thoughts, your habits, and ultimately your destiny. Ultimately, successful people understand that their time and energy are their most valuable assets. They guard them fiercely and make conscious decisions about who they allow into their inner circle by removing negative relationships and toxic people. They create a fertile environment for growth, creativity, and achievement. This is why one of the first steps towards success is often not adding something new, but subtracting what no longer serves your highest potential. The courage to let go of what holds you back becomes the gateway to everything you want to achieve. The second thing successful people remove from their lives is excuses and self-limiting beliefs. These are the invisible chains that quietly hold people back, convincing them that they are not ready, not capable, or not deserving of the success they desire. Excuses and self-limiting beliefs come in many forms. Sometimes they sound like, I don't have the time, I'm not smart enough, or I'll start tomorrow. Other times, they appear as fears disguised as logic. The market isn't ready for me, I'm too old, or I don't have the right connections. Whatever form they take, they serve the same purpose: to keep you small, to keep you comfortable, and to keep you from stepping into your true potential. Successful people understand that the moment you give in to an excuse is the moment you accept mediocrity. They know that excuses are a silent thief, stealing opportunities, momentum, and dreams before they ever have a chance to materialize. When you hold on to excuses, you place the responsibility for your life outside of yourself. You begin to believe that your success depends on circumstances, other people, or luck, rather than your own choices, actions, and persistence. Successful people refuse to live this way. They take full ownership of their lives, knowing that accountability is the foundation of progress. Self-limiting beliefs are closely tied to excuses. They are the negative stories we tell ourselves over and over until they feel true. They whisper that you are not enough, that your ideas won't work, or that your dreams are too big. These beliefs are often formed early in life or reinforced through repeated failure, criticism, or comparison. If left unchecked, they create a mental ceiling, a limit on what you believe is possible for yourself. Successful people actively challenge these beliefs. They recognize them as illusions rather than truths. They reframe their thinking, replacing doubt with curiosity, fear with action, and limitation with possibility. Removing excuses and self-limiting beliefs requires discipline, self-awareness, and courage. It is not a one-time decision, but a daily practice. It means examining your thoughts, asking yourself whether they serve your goals, and refusing to accept convenient stories that keep you stuck. It involves taking action even when conditions are not perfect, stepping into challenges even when confidence wavers, and proving to yourself day after day that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. Successful people also surround themselves with influences that reinforce empowerment instead of limitation. They read books, listen to mentors, and engage with communities that challenge their thinking and expand their horizons. They replace the narrative of "I can't" with "How can I?" They celebrate progress, no matter how small, and use setbacks as learning opportunities rather than excuses to quit. They understand that their mindset is their most powerful tool, and they protect it fiercely from doubt, negativity, and self-imposed boundaries. Ultimately, removing excuses and self-limiting beliefs is about freedom, the freedom to pursue your vision without hesitation, to take risks without fear, and to grow without limits. When successful people eliminate these mental obstacles, they step into a life of clarity, confidence, and relentless forward motion. They refuse to let anything, internal or external, keep them from achieving what they are capable of. This is why one of the defining characteristics of success is the ability to remove the internal blocks that quietly say no to your dreams and instead replace them with a resounding yes to your potential. The third thing successful people remove from their lives is unproductive habits and distractions. These are the small, seemingly harmless routines, behaviors, or activities that silently consume your time and energy, leaving little room for growth and meaningful progress. Unproductive habits can take many forms. They might be mindlessly scrolling through social media for hours, binge watching shows that leave you drained, procrastinating on tasks that matter, or saying yes to commitments that do not align with your goals. Distractions can be even subtler, like allowing constant notifications to interrupt your focus, engaging in unnecessary arguments, or getting caught up in gossip. While these actions might seem trivial in the moment, over time they accumulate and steal the very resource that is most valuable for achieving success: your attention. Successful people understand that time is the one thing they can never get back. Every hour spent on unproductive habits is an hour lost from learning, creating, strategizing, and moving closer to their vision. They recognize that distractions are not just external interruptions, they are internal traps that keep the mind fragmented, the energy scattered, and the focus diluted. To achieve extraordinary results, they commit to eliminating these drains and replacing them with intentional actions that move the needle forward. Removing unproductive habits begins with awareness. Successful people take an honest look at their daily routines and ask themselves which activities truly contribute to their growth and which ones serve only to fill time or provide temporary comfort. They are meticulous about tracking how they spend their hours, often identifying patterns that many people overlook. For instance, an hour spent scrolling through social media might feel like a short break, but multiplied over weeks and months, it becomes a significant portion of wasted time. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward change. Once awareness is established, successful people replace unproductive habits with productive routines. They prioritize high-impact tasks, allocate focused blocks of time for deep work, and set boundaries around activities that do not serve their goals. They understand the value of saying no to distractions, even if it means disappointing others or stepping away from activities that seem urgent but are ultimately unimportant. This conscious curation of time allows them to channel their energy into tasks that yield results, whether it is learning a new skill, building relationships that matter, or creating work that advances their vision. Distractions are also mental and emotional, not just physical. Successful people cultivate habits that strengthen focus, such as meditation, planning their day in advance, journaling, or limiting multitasking. They protect their minds from unnecessary clutter and noise Knowing that clarity and focus are essential for making intelligent decisions and executing plans effectively, by removing distractions, they gain a sense of control over their attention, which allows them to approach challenges with precision, creativity, and persistence. Ultimately, eliminating unproductive habits and distractions is about reclaiming control over your life. Successful people understand that every small choice adds up to significant results over time. By intentionally removing the habits and distractions that waste time and energy, they create space for growth, achievement, and fulfillment. They learn to value their attention as a finite resource and treat it with respect, knowing that how they invest their focus today determines the success they will experience tomorrow. This disciplined approach to eliminating what does not serve them becomes a defining factor in their ability to rise above mediocrity and achieve extraordinary outcomes. The fourth thing successful people remove from their lives is fear of failure and fear of judgment. These fears are silent saboteurs that stop many people from pursuing their dreams, taking risks, and reaching their full potential. Fear of failure convinces you to stay in your comfort zone, whispering that it is safer not to try than to face the possibility of falling short. Fear of judgment convinces you to conform, to dim your light, and to prioritize other people's opinions over your own vision. Together, these fears create invisible barriers, limiting your growth and holding you back from opportunities that could transform your life. Successful people recognize these fears for what they truly are, illusions that rob them of their power and potential. Fear of failure is often rooted in past experiences, criticism, or the expectations of others. It can manifest as hesitation, procrastination, or self-doubt. Many people allow this fear to dictate their choices, avoiding challenges that could lead to personal growth or breakthrough achievements. Successful people, however, understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It is a necessary part of the journey. They see failure as feedback, a lesson, and a stepping stone toward mastery. By reframing failure as an opportunity to learn rather than a reflection of their worth, they are able to take bold actions without being paralyzed by what might go wrong. Fear of judgment is equally limiting. From a young age, many of us are conditioned to seek approval, to avoid criticism, and to fit into societal norms. While this may offer temporary comfort, it prevents true innovation, creativity, and authenticity. Successful people refuse to let the opinions of others determine their choices. They understand that people will always have something to say, and that criticism is often a reflection of someone else's limitations rather than an accurate assessment of their potential. By removing the fear of judgment, they free themselves to act with confidence, express their ideas boldly, and pursue paths that align with their purpose. Eliminating these fears requires both mindset work and deliberate action. Successful people practice self-awareness, recognizing the moments when fear creeps in and consciously choosing to respond differently. They surround themselves with supportive people who encourage risk, taking and resilience rather than feeding doubt. They also take consistent action, understanding that courage grows through experience. Each step forward, even in the face of fear, builds confidence and reinforces the belief that they are capable of handling whatever challenges come their way. Successful people also use visualization and positive reinforcement to combat fear. They imagine themselves succeeding, visualize the steps necessary to reach their goals, and mentally rehearse overcoming obstacles. This mental preparation strengthens their resolve and diminishes the power that fear holds over them. They understand that fear will never completely disappear, but it can be managed, controlled, and transformed into a motivator rather than a barrier. Ultimately, removing fear of failure and fear of judgment is about reclaiming your freedom and your power. It allows successful people to take risks, embrace uncertainty, and move boldly toward their goals. By refusing to let fear dictate their decisions, they open the door to opportunities, creativity, and growth that others never experience. They understand that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite it. This mindset separates those who merely dream from those who achieve, and it becomes one of the most critical factors in their journey to lasting success. The fifth thing successful people remove from their lives is clutter and anything that doesn't serve their vision. Clutter is not just physical, it can be mental, emotional, or digital, and it has the power to slow progress, drain energy, and cloud focus. Many people underestimate the effect of holding on to unnecessary possessions, outdated routines, unresolved emotions, or irrelevant information. These distractions take up space in your life, leaving less room for creativity, productivity, and growth. Successful people understand that to achieve greatness, they must create an environment, both external and internal, that supports their goals rather than hinders them. Physical clutter is often the most obvious form. It can be a messy workspace, piles of unused items, or an unorganized home. Every item that doesn't have a purpose or bring value creates visual noise, which subconsciously divides your attention and increases stress. Successful people remove physical clutter deliberately, keeping only what is necessary, meaningful, or inspiring. They understand that a clean and organized environment promotes clear thinking, efficiency, and a sense of calm that allows them to focus fully on their work and their vision. Mental clutter is just as critical to address. Thoughts that don't serve your goals, worries that constantly replay in your mind, and mental lists of obligations that aren't aligned with your priorities all create chaos in your thinking. Successful people practice techniques such as journaling, meditation, or planning to clear mental clutter and maintain clarity. By identifying and eliminating unhelpful thoughts, they can concentrate on what truly matters, make better decisions, and approach challenges with calm and purpose. Emotional clutter is another form that successful people actively remove. Past regrets, grudges, resentment, or fear can weigh heavily on the heart and mind. Holding on to these emotions consumes energy that could otherwise be invested in progress and achievement. Successful people practice forgiveness, self-compassion, and emotional release to free themselves from the burdens of the past. They understand that unresolved emotions act as invisible anchors, keeping them from moving forward, and they choose to let go in order to embrace growth and opportunity. Digital clutter is increasingly relevant in today's world. Emails, notifications, social media, and an overabundance of information can fragment focus and overwhelm the mind. Successful people are intentional about how they interact with technology. They unsubscribe from distractions, limit unnecessary notifications, and curate the information they consume to ensure it adds value. By removing digital clutter, they reclaim time and mental energy, which allows them to concentrate on tasks that directly contribute to their goals. Ultimately, removing clutter and anything that doesn't serve their vision is about creating space for what truly matters. Successful people understand that their environment, mindset, and emotional state are all interconnected. By eliminating the unnecessary, they free themselves to focus, innovate, and act with intention. They replace what is unhelpful with habits, tools, and relationships that propel them forward. This conscious removal becomes a powerful catalyst for success, allowing them to move through life with clarity, purpose, and momentum in every aspect. They embrace the principle that less can be more, and that the path to extraordinary achievement is often paved not by adding more, but by removing everything that weighs them down. As we come to the close of this message, I want you to feel the weight of what we've explored today. Success is not just about working harder, learning more, or chasing opportunities relentlessly. True success is about clarity, focus, and intentionality. It is about understanding that what you allow in your life shapes the person you become and the life you create. The 5 things we have discussed, the negative relationships and toxic people, excuses and self-limiting beliefs, unproductive habits and distractions, fear of failure and fear of judgment, and clutter in all its forms, are barriers that quietly steal your energy, your time, and your potential. They may not always be visible, but their impact is profound. The choice to remove these obstacles is yours and yours alone. It requires courage, discipline, and the willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. It demands that you take a hard look at your life and make conscious decisions about who you allow into your circle, what thoughts you entertain, how you spend your time, how you respond to fear, and what you carry with you day after day. It is not a one-time effort, but a daily practice of alignment with your vision, purpose, and highest potential. When you begin to remove what no longer serves you, a transformation occurs. Your mind becomes clearer, your energy sharper, and your focus unwavering. You start to attract opportunities, relationships, and experiences that support your growth rather than hold you back. You gain the freedom to act boldly, think creatively, and live intentionally. Every step you take in letting go of the unnecessary brings you closer to the life you have imagined and the person you are meant to become. Remember, success is not just about accumulation, it is also about subtraction. It is about the courage to let go of what weighs you down and the discipline to cultivate what lifts you higher. Every decision to remove negativity, excuses, distractions, fear, and clutter is a declaration that you will no longer be held back by what does not serve your purpose. It is a commitment to yourself and to your vision, a promise that you will rise above limitations and embrace the fullness of your potential. So as you leave here today, ask yourself, what am I ready to remove from my life so that I can step fully into my success? Identify it, release it, and make room for growth, clarity, and achievement. The path to extraordinary living begins with the courage to remove the obstacles and the commitment to pursue your highest vision without compromise. Your success is waiting on the other side of what you decide to let go. Take that step today.